What's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over, I'm going to be going over the MLB slate for this evening. And we'll talk about yesterday, varying degrees of success, uh, kind of illustrating how difficult baseball is. So there were two slates yesterday, right? There was the early four-game slate and the late and the main four-game slate. In the early four-game slate, I played 60 lineups, used a similar process as I usually do. I played 60 lineups in the lottery, and I played one in the big buy-in. The only thing I didn't do is I didn't demand to have five-man stacks. I just kind of let SaberSim give me what it gives me, and I ended up with all these 3 3s and 4 2s, and I'm so proud of myself that I had all these unique, weird-looking stacks. And what ended up happening was I literally went 0 for 60 in cashes. Pretty nuts, right? It's very difficult to do. So went 0 for 60 in cashes there. And then in the main slate, I used the similar process, except I don't even know if I demanded stacks here, but we ended up coming in first in the Monster on FanDuel for 30,000, which is obviously amazing. So we were able to beat guys with multiple lineups, beat Brandon Adams and Squirrel Patrol, and then you'll look and you see that the two of us to finish first and second were 17 points ahead of everybody else, and you see I only won by 0.3. This is really cool. So I was kind of sweating the end of this Toronto game. I mean, all my results were in already, and Dalton Varsho came up, and he had already, had a big day, and he hit was it the 9th or the 8th? I forget what it was, but he hit a solo home run. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's got to do it. And then I actually did the math in my head, and I said, ooh, I don't think he actually caught me. And I was right. He was only 0.3 from me, which was kind of cool. And then I just needed to sweat, obviously, some impossible results in the 9th inning. So we basically kept everybody from scoring in the 9th inning. Actually, the big one was getting Bichette to make out, actually. So obviously very fortunate to have gotten this done. And now we're going to get straight into today. So I was not 100% prepared, only because I just saw that Bobby was out like 5 minutes ago. So I'm prepared, but I just wasn't prepared with what exactly to share my screen. So let's pull this up right now. That's the weather. That's the Roto Grinders weather. And even though in New York right now it is pouring rain, apparently, I mean, sometime in the next 7 hours it's going to stop. So that's good. So let's take a look at the games, and we'll go game by game here. But before we do that, I do want to share my my projections. I always do that when I'm doing this solo, and the way I kind of look at the board. And then we'll do lineup builds and all this stuff. Do I think FanDuel is easier? I don't know. It's kind of like that poker thing. That most people that win poker tournaments always say after they won, "Oh, the structure was just perfect for my style of play." And the fact is, everybody's being pretty results oriented. I find both FanDuel and DraftKings very hard. It's a tough sport, but I don't find one particularly easier than the other. All right, so the way I look at the slates, and this is, if you're a TrueDFS sub, you can go onto the website and you'll be able to see it kind of laid out like this. What I like to do is again, first I look at the projections, figure out who I might want to play. Then I will load it into SaberSim and see what I would play without applying contest sims. And then I would apply the contest sims and see kind of the delta between all those constructions. That's kind of preparation. So on this slate, you'll see, and this is really the way I look at it. I rate everything by what I call Sheets value score, and again, that's kind of my own formula to combine both raw fantasy point projections and point per dollar. And what I see here is it's a very it's very smooth. In other words, you don't have a lot of standouts here as far as the pitchers go. Like you have these 4 guys that are between 31 and 28, for example. And first of all, none of that is too high in general, and they're not too much different from one another. So what that is going to lead me to believe is that there are plenty of options pitching-wise. And as a result, if there's somebody or some pitchers that are particularly high-owned, you probably are going to end up fading them. Just because if all these guys rate very similarly, and one is going to be somewhat higher owned than the others, you probably just want to fade that. So again, like right now, you see Hunter Brown would be the highest owned of all these guys. And as far as pure value goes, it's no better than any of these others. Maybe something like Gavin Williams at 6,800 might be something you want to do. Maybe Gausman, a little lower owned than these other guys. Maybe you go down to Castillo or Clay Holmes. They're sub 15% owned, even Will Warren. So I think that from a pitching perspective, that's kind of what you're looking at here, kind of on the slate, is just kind of spreading things out a little bit. Then what I'll do is I'll look at the stacks, and okay, let's take a look at the stacks. And again, this is for the uninitiated. This is the first time you might be seeing me doing this, but for those of you who've been with me for a while, this is not new. Yeah, Nola was up there, I think. Which want to go back? Yeah, Nola was one of the top guys. I mean, but it's not like a complete standout. I mean, you can certainly play him though. So the way I rate them is 3 different columns, 3 different ways. One is by raw. I put raw stack. The other is by value stack, and the other is modified stack. And just to get into the weeds here, all raw stack is just the top 5 hitters and their projected fantasy points. Okay, and that's it. The top 5, from a team. And so, for example, when you rate them in this way, you're going to see that San Diego is clearly, the top rated stack as far as pure fantasy points. Then you'll get the Yankees and the Dodgers, but they're way below. I mean, the Padres are huge standouts, okay? And you'll see also the projected ownership of those 5 players is clearly the highest projected owned of any of them. Then you'll go to value stack, and what value stack is just, don't get too complicated. It's just point per dollar, okay? That's all it is. So when you rate them this way, you're going to get the 5 best point per dollar plays, okay, of the team. And that's what we call value stack. And so we can rate them in this way. And when you rate them based on value, you're going to see the Dodgers #1, then the White Sox, then Baltimore. And the reason why, by the way, like, oh my God, the Dodgers top value, because look at the guys in here. These are not exactly the 5 Dodgers that you'd want to play for raw points. Like, check this out. Like, these are the 5 rated by raw points. It's Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, whatever. But with straight value, you have basically all the other guys. And then over here, you have this modified stack ranking. And what that is just really the top 5 sheets value scores that I just described earlier. So this is kind of a nice combination of upside, point per dollar, and raw points, sort of. So you'll see here that the top 2 are San Diego and Baltimore. So if I had to, again, like if I didn't want to run SaberSim, if I just wanted a hand build or something like this, the way I would analyze this, I would say, okay, you have 2 teams that rate the best as far as modified stack score, but one of them is the highest owned on the slate, and the other one is less owned. So I would say that if I had to pick my favorite stack based on just the projections, it would be something like Baltimore. Okay, so you put all that together, right? If you wanted to, again, build lineups with just, without even doing SaberSim or anything, let's have some fun. Let's put these in. So we'll put in Baltimore, and who are the guys I had? So it would be Laureano, Laureano, and Henderson. And Mullins. Who is Mayo? Whatever it is, he's rated to be a very, very good value today. Let's see. So he's 2,100. We'll put him in here, and then we'll put in who's the other? Mountcastle. Was he first base nowadays? Mountcastle. Yeah. Oh, so we'll put Mayo at third. Yeah, Mayo at third. Like for example, okay. So 5-man Baltimore, and then if you want to put the pitchers in, again, what did I say? You go take kind of lower owned one. So let's take Gaussman. Looks decent enough. Oh yeah, absolutely, Motown. This is what it's exactly what you see on the site. So then you have Gaussman, and then I guess maybe even Gavin Williams or even Castillo. Okay, so if you play like Gaussman, just for the hell of it. Again, I'm not going to fill out the whole lineup, but just to kind of see. And Castillo. And then it's very easy, to build the rest of this. So, like, you could, for example, you could even beef up your Baltimore stack if you want. Like, if you want to play Mayo, you could go, and this is the way I would screw around with this, is I would go into here, back into the stacks grid, and instead of playing just all the value guys, we can go up to Rutschman instead of Mayo. Instead of Mayo if you want. So we could put Rutschman at the catcher, and you don't need to play Mayo if you don't want to. And then you could fill out the rest of your lineups this way. So I'm not saying that you should do this, but you can get away with not using, fancy optimizers. I don't want to say belittlingly, but without using optimizers, and just use the projections to build like something decent, okay? And it combines like projections and sort of some intuition and some ownerships and things like that. Okay, so I'm curious to see what we'd end up getting. Before we do that, let's take a look at some other stacks that we might not have looked at. So you see San Diego and Baltimore are clear standouts, but again, just below them you have stuff like the Angels, who are even lower owned, okay? And then the Dodgers and the Yankees would have more raw points. So these would be kind of my second tier, would be Angels, Dodgers, and Yankees, okay? So these are the types of teams I would expect to see in the regular Saber score builds, okay? Padres, Baltimore, Angels, Dodgers, Yankees, and really any of those pitchers. So let's take a look, and we'll pull up SaberSim. And we'll pull up the tab, and I already put my dummy lineups in, but again, just to show you guys how to do that, we'll put on download file from DraftKings. I already filled in my I created dummy lineups first over there, and then you just, wherever that goes on your computer, you just access it this way. And then, so what it does is it puts your existing lineups in here, but more to the point, it fills in your contest. So it says what contest you're playing and all this data, so that when you run your contest sims, it can know which field lineups to use. In other words, which contest fields do we want to predict. So that's one of the benefits of doing this. Okay. So at this point, you want to run builds. You can either use SaberSim's projections. You could use what we call TrueDFS projections, which is what I put up there. Also, Goldie puts his projections up there as well, and I think you can average them if you would like also. But in either case, what's up, Andy? You'll have some projection set over here, okay? And you'll be able to pick which one. So what I'm going to do, just for fun, I mean, I'll upload the projections I have as of now, and I keep them offline. But if you're again a subscriber, it'll automatically preload them into SaberSim for you. Okay, like so you'll see, and this is something that's interesting if you wanted to ever look at this. So if you ever put your own projections in, you'll see that it puts them either in a red box or a green box, and all that means is that if you are under what SaberSim believes, that it'll make it red, and if you're over, that it'll be green, and if it's exactly the same, then it'll just have nothing in it. And that's, I guess some useful information, if you want to just say, ooh, where am I way ahead or way behind SaberSim? And then again, this is my process. I don't make any changes pre-build. Well, that's not true. So what I've been messing around with recently is this idea of limiting myself to 5-man or 4-man stacks kind of right out of the gate, as opposed to waiting to see what the 5-mans or what they build for me. But now let's do it the other way. Let's just build the 5,000 lineups and just see what we get without making any changes. Like, first of all, I wonder what 5-man stacks people are going to, what percentage of 5-man stacks I'm going to get in my lineups. Now, what's good about it is I have 152 lineups today because I'm playing 150 in that lottery. And you'll see, by the way, I mean, there's no secret why San Diego is projecting to be the highest value by a lot, and that's because they're in Colorado. And you see, even SaberSim has them as a 6.9 implied total. So they're going to be very popular. But again, like this Baltimore thing, I think is a very legitimate and reasonable pivot. Let's see what we get here. And in basketball, I can always tell you that I'm going to get the same things as the projections analysis will give you, but with baseball, I'm just never sure. Okay, so let's take a look. So what I like to do, oh, it's already simming it for me. This is really funny. So first of all, before it even is done simming, you'll see that I'd be getting, wow, 30% Yankees, 28% San Francisco, 26% Milwaukee. So it's, so SaberSim's algorithms and its lineup building prowess is just not even remotely getting to, well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, it's getting Padres and Baltimore, but it's just getting more of these Yankees and the Giants, which I wasn't really anticipating. So let's take a look and see what we have here. So first of all, let's go into direct fill. And now that we've applied the contest sims, actually, you're going to see that actually Padres are the highest owned, which is very surprising to me because usually when you run the sims, they don't give you the kind of chalky stacks. They usually give you kind of weird ones. But I guess San Diego rates to be such a strong play that it just kind of doesn't matter. As far as the pitching is concerned, let's see, exposure over there. Wow, so this is not what we expected. Okay, so this is why you're getting all that chalky hitting. And this I kind of knew, right? Remember I mentioned that the pitching was going to be pretty spread out. Look at all these guys. Look at all these terrible plays that were making such high owned. Bryce Wilson, 5,500. Kyle Hendrick, 50. So all these cheapos. That's the type of build that SaberSim is actually getting you today, and that's very interesting. And as far as stack exposure, the majority of them are either 5.2s or 5.3s, and over 150 lineups have such a high percentage That's not that's I won't say rare, but it's not that likely that happens. So that's the way I look at kind of this early builds here, is you know what I'd be getting if I kind of enter these contests now. And what's cool about it is you're never going to get both. You're never going to get like super chalky pitching and super chalky hitting. And I was worried that when I first saw this Padre exposure that I was going to be all chalk, but then you'll see I'm getting all this pitching, all this kind of like weird pitching. So just hit save to contests, and it's just a question of how you want to fill all these lineups. Autofill basically gets you, it's a little more focused. What's the word I'm looking for? When you're really like targeted. Yeah, more targeted. Okay. So it's going to really put the right lineups into the right contest. So that's why I use autofill. And yeah, so Travis, it's so funny when it comes to baseball. And I learned a while ago, like it just, I just never, I really never worry about who I end up with. I think I know who I'm going to get. But again, remember with baseball, it's not just about making the best plays. I mean, you've got to be able to, have the right stack that can get into the, that can use the right positions, that can leave room in the other spots for other good plays in the right position. So it's not just finding the best plays and even the best stacks. It's how can the stacks intertwine with the rest of the builds. And so that's why, again, but it's interesting to see what I would normally get. And this is a rough build for me. I'm going to get all these cheapo pitchers, right? So you could double check. You can look at exposures, and then for pitching, Kyle Hendricks, Bryce Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, yikes. Yeah. Okay, so that is DraftKings. You want to want to ride the wave? We'll take a look at FanDuel. Yeah, sure. Let's do the exact same thing. How about that? Let's pull up FanDuel, and we'll do the same exact analysis. First, we'll look at pitching. Pitching, we'll sort again by Sheets value score, and you'll see same analysis, really, in that nobody rates to be that great. Like sometimes you'll get guys with Sheets value score of over 100. Yeah, you're right, Lone. I agree. And even those arms are not exactly the greatest plays. So here you have Gausman again. Gausman, Brown, Nola, and then if you want to be cheapo, you can go Gavin Williams. But I think Gausman, Brown, and Nola are clearly the best. And here the ownership is not that bad either way. So you could really pick whoever you want, like whichever fits the rest of your your lineup construction. Like if you really like a stack, then you just pay down for Gausman. If you're not too greedy about that, then take the 4 projected fantasy points excess in Hunter Brown. So that's totally fine. Let's take a look at the at FanDuel. At the stacks. And again, we'll just cut right to it. We'll look at modified stack. And the thing about FanDuel is usually the raw stacks and the modified stacks are very similar as opposed to DraftKings. So if you rate these by raw points, you're going to get Padres, Yankees, and Dodgers, and Baltimore. Like these 4 kind of stand out. So Padres, Yankees, Dodgers, Baltimore. You sort them by modified. Again, almost the same thing. So instead of getting the Dodgers, Tampa shows up a little bit more, and the Angels. So these would be the teams you'd want to play: Padres, Baltimore, Yankees, Tampa, Angels, and the Dodgers. But let's see who's the lowest owned. So how about Tampa? I mean, Tampa could be a nice low-owned team, and the Angels could be a low-owned team. I don't even think you need to save all that much money. But boy, if you can get away with this, like you played Hunter Brown and like these 2 together, then that's pretty neat. Okay, I mean you're going to be extremely different. So like I said, like if you want to play like Padres with say the Yankees, you could probably do it, but then you're really going to have to pay down for pitching or play something really, really low owned. Like, I mean, for example, let's do a whatchamacallit, a lineup here. Let's enter a lineup, and let's just start with the stats. Let's just put in like the four of the best plays here. Well, I don't know who the best plays are, so I have Tatis, Machado, Merrill, and Arias over here. But here you put in Bogarts for Arias. So I don't know. Let's just start with the guys that we know we would want to play, and there would be Tatis and Machado. Where's Machado playing nowadays? Third base. Machado, and then Merrill is another one who. What position is Merrill nowadays? I don't know what they give him. Merrill. Oh, it's Stoutfield. Okay. And then let's put Arias in just to move the lineup around a little bit. So let's put him at first or second base. We'll put him at first base. Actually, put him at second base. And what would be the next team? So I want to try to pick something low owned to go with it. So it can't be the Yankees. Maybe Tampa or the Angels. You know, even the Angels is being even cheaper. So let's put these guys in. Let's see how much is left over for pitching. I think that's the way you can play this. So is Ohapi the catcher? Yep, he's 2,900. Any chance that Neto? Yep, there's Neto over here. Any chance we can get Soler and Ward in the outfield? Sure, why not? So you can put in Soler. Now let's just see if this can work. And then Ward. So now we have 7,300. We can almost play this. You know what I mean? Like, you can almost play this with one of our good pitchers. Like, we could pay down to Gavin Williams maybe if we save 500. So you can't exactly get what you want here, but you can get close to what you want, right? One thing you could do is you could replace one of these with Joe Adele maybe because he's a little cheaper. So what is Adele? I think he is. Let's see Joe Adele. Joe Adele is, what's his price? So he's 2,400. So we could put him instead of either Soler or Ward, for example. And then we could get to up to Gavin Williams. Okay. Now again, that's no bargain. I mean, you're not getting the top guys, but to get, you know, a decent set, you know, decent 4-4, that is one way to play. Okay, so let's take a look and see what same thing. Let's see what FanDuel would have us do. And again, we're playing one in there. We'll run back the monster here. Try to go back to back, and then 60 in the squeeze. And then upload these. And again, same thing. We're just going to hit 5, you know, build 5,000. Well, look at this. Look at this. So check this out. And it's like really early, but just something cool to sweat. So this is the golf right now. And we don't even. I mean, first of all, we have guys with more holes remaining and stuff like that. It's obviously only day 2, but it is always fun to see being near the top of the leaderboard, even though you know it's never going to hold. So McElroy's -3, Lowry -5. So nobody's really doing all that great. So I imagine some of these guys come and get me. But it is kind of fun to see a screenshot. The Mets could be sneaky because the Cubs bullpen has been really getting lit up. Okay, could be. All right, so let's take a look and see the team stacks in the when we look at it by. What are we going to look at it for? By a Sabre score yet? No, hold on. Pool entry exposure. So we're already running the sims here. So we're going to see after we run the sims what we end up with. Okay. Okay, so here we'd be getting Baltimore would be the top overall stack here. Yeah, I know, I get it, Motat. I know. It's whenever you get a sweat for that much money, man, it doesn't matter how much you have in the bank. That's always so much. It's great because first of all, it's real money, and I mean, it shows you're beating like hundreds of thousands of people. It's freaking crazy. Yeah, I just run hot, Motown. That's all I can tell you. The special toggle up here on Sabre Sim, you have to know where it is to just run better than everybody else. So I'd be getting, it looks like 40% Baltimore, 39% Yankees, 24% San Francisco, and with the stack exposures, mostly 4-3s and 4-4s. But let's take a look at the pitching. Yeah, so Gausman and Nola. So again, I mean, the stuff that I would have gotten to by hand has literally zero to do with what I'm getting with using SaberSim. Okay. That just, I guess, kind of is what it is. So we'll just go ahead and go back into autofill, I guess, and fill in these lineups. And again, what we do is we sort these by fee. So we're going to put the monster on the top this way. When we save it, it first does the monster and then it does the squeeze. Oh, you cash games? Okay, that's cool. Hey, you know what? Listen, honestly, whatever makes it fun. I mean, really. You don't want it to be money pressure. You don't want whatever. It really is. I mean, just something it's both a combination of something that trains that tests your brain, and it really is fun. I mean, if you're playing stakes where it's not fun, then don't do it. I mean, really. Or if it's too much stress, then don't do it. So let's upload the. Can we get a quick take how you approach Showdown? You know, I wish I could tell you that it's any different. It's really the same. Like I use my projections and then I well, that's not exactly true. So there are a couple of differences. You know what I wouldn't. You know what's a decent idea? I actually did I did a video that I posted last night when I did my lineup construction for LOL and also tennis and also PGA Showdown, where I did the full PGA Showdown lineup build, but it wasn't particularly interesting. So maybe I will do another one on Showdown. One thing I don't do in Showdown in golf is I don't like leave money on the table on purpose or anything like that. I mean, for example, like last week, I had two big scores in Showdown last week, but nothing I did was particularly interesting. I just really just ran the projections and just kind of rolled with it. So this guy already is off to a great. Look at this guy. He's not only is this dude in first in this golf, but he's got 5 holes on everybody. This is a big lead. And I'm not saying he's necessarily going to win, but this is a very big lead. And what's cool is that like these guys are. This guy's got 240, 340 fantasy points. So he's got 11. I don't know, man. Maybe these lineups end up okay. towards the end of the day. I mean, we're getting Rory -3. Like all these guys are under for the day. I mean, it can't be that bad. So yeah, let's see if we can't make some hay. The other thing I'll do, listen, hey, while I'm here, right? It's 12:35. I got a few minutes. Let's do an early build for the NBA. I mean, why not, right? And again, it'll be the same thing. Now I gotta do the MMA stuff soon. So let's do a quick build for the NBA for tonight. It's a 2-game slate. I'll be here later, but just because you guys are here, we could do this. So one thing that you're going to have to remember about the slate is that it's there's you know this already, but there's a big gap, between start times. So you're going to be able to wait and make changes in your late games, in your late game. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Now I wonder if there's anybody questionable or anything like that. I'm really doing any research on this game. Like, is Garland ever playing? I mean, Mobley questionable, Garland questionable. You want to do a little research on this? Okay, so let's see. Let's look at see at least some DraftKings research at least. So let's see what it says on Garland. Officially questionable. Oh, look at this. He was present for shoot around. Hooray. Okay. So Garland was present for shoot around. Mobley was present for shoot arounds. And Hunter was present for shoot arounds. I can't Lone Wolf. I just don't have all the sim stuff in yet. That's what sucks, Lone. I can't. But I'm going to do a full video on MMA later tonight probably. Just don't have the data yet. So assuming that all these guys are in, you want to see what my projections say now? I mean, may as well. We have nothing else to do for the next 20 minutes. So for the NBA, let's see what we have here. Again, same thing. Let's rate these first. Well, let's rate them first by point per dollar. And it looks like Jamal Murray is just kind of the best overall play when you factor in everything else. When it comes to just pure fantasy points, I mean, obviously, Jokic is 10 points higher than everybody else, I presume. Yeah. But I definitely think Jamal Murray is probably the best overall play, which is why he's going to be probably the most popular. He's 60% owned here. I mean, he's just too cheap. Now, what you could do, if you wanted to, is you could overweight everything to the later game if you wanted to, but that's really, really difficult to do. But let's do this. Let's upload again. Same thing, right? I have my see that the tournament's preloaded in there. So I have the alley-oop, the one line up there, and then the lottery. Same thing. And again, NBA is just basically a projection game here. I mean, we're not worried about stacks. We're not worrying about, correlation really or anything like that. And to answer a question that, I know a lot of people have is, do you have like a minimum or a maximum that you would play from any one game or any one team? And the answer is just no, especially on a 2-game slate. And I played lineups with like 6 guys from one team, as long as the Sims, kind of get me to those lineups, that's fine, because the Sims are supposed to take all that into account, like how 6 players correlate with one another. And that's one of the things I like about the Sims is that it challenges, previous, notions about how you're supposed to play. And it used to be that, you don't want to play more than 2 from the same team, or if you play more than 2 from the same team, you want to have a run back. But apparently, the Sims and then the back testing and all the data is showing that's just not the case. But the whole idea of run backs is a little bit, you know, a little bit fishy. All right, so, and it's automatically going straight into sim mode, and I just can't imagine I'm going to get much craziness. I'm presuming I'm going to get 100 Jamal Murray, maybe? That's what I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess 100 Jamal Murray. Let's just take a look. And it's going to be... No, that is not true. So what's only 62% and then 72% Jalen Williams. So here's the real, like, this is a nasty result here, okay? I don't know exactly why this is, but in current runs, look how much Donovan Mitchell I'm getting. I'm getting 0. Like, not like a single lineup with Donovan Mitchell. That's pretty nuts, right? Coming off of the 7, and I'm down for it. You know what I mean? Coming off the 75-point performance, but that's kind of crazy, right? You know. But that's what I'd be getting. I'd be getting very, very little. So we'll save these to the contests. Yeah, 4 OKC. I mean, all that's fine. What's cool again about getting a lot of guys in the later games is that if you know, if things aren't going your way, or if they are, you could do very, very, you know, you have more late swapping that you can do. So let's look at the exposures here once I've done this. NBA. Oh, I didn't. Oh, that's okay. That's the show house there. Okay. So Jalen Williams, Miles Turner, Jamal Murray, Nesmith, Jokic. I mean the normal guys, except I'm not getting any Donovan Mitchell. I mean 2%. Yikes. So I know what I'm rooting for. I just got to look at one guy and hope he gets cold. That's it. Okay. Let's go to FanDuel. Same thing. I'll be interested to see what's different. And then, not that we could do a PGA showdown, Travis, but we'll do the NBA showdown just to kind of see what the difference is. Okay, so FanDuel, same deal. Already preloaded the lineups. And these projections are, you know, obviously all the projections that I'm showing you are going to update. They don't update automatically, like certainly not mine. I mean, because I don't. Just a little inside information here. Like I don't run these things like all day long. You know, I do it when I feel like it. You know, like I maybe run it like twice, and it's only when I need it. I mean, that's the whole thing about this project with TrueDFS. I don't really do this for subscribers. That's kind of weird to say, but I do it based on what I would do. Like if I'm not playing, for example, I'm probably not going to put projections up for something. But when I do play, I make sure to put the projections up and share with you guys what I'm doing. That's it. That's the whole thing about transparency. Like if I have no interest, and I have no interest in sharing, I have no interest with you because, you know, whatever, what's the point? Okay. Let's see what FanDuel looks like. All right, so I didn't predict first of all. So let's see what hold on. So let's pull up the FanDuel sheets first. So for FanDuel, again, when you sort by point per dollar, Isaiah Hartenstein would be the best point per dollar play. Ooh, that's interesting. At the Jokic center position. So that's, I'm curious to see if that's what I end up getting. Let's see. So let's see what I get. It looks like, how would you like to play 1% Nikola Jokic? How do you like them apples? So here's the thing, guys, and again, I can't tell you what to do as we load these, but for me, I never, almost never, like question what I get. In other words, if I'm gonna put trust in my process and my inputs, I don't really complain about the outputs. You know, so if I say, whoa, I have 0% of Jokic or I have 0% of Mitchell, I don't really care. Okay, ooh, what is this? They didn't get them all in here. What happens to my, what happens to this? Why can't I, wait a minute, why can't I, why are these not coming into my, my lineups? Hold on, let's see something. That's odd. Exceeds the salary? Does somehow Sabersim not have the correct salaries in? I've seen that happen, by the way. Very interesting. Total salaries exceeds the salary cap for this contest. So I am definitely going to have to look at this. And let's just, I'm not even sure if Sabersim has the right salaries in here. So these are all 60. It looks like all 60,000. So I'm gonna presume that Sabersim is gonna have to update. So that's an interesting little nugget here. Want to look at a couple of these and just check to see. So Miles Turner 6,300, is that actually what he is? Let's see. Yeah, so I don't know why it's building without, I don't know why it's building like that. So NBA, I don't know, it seems to have them all in here. We're going to see about that, but that is the process. This, we have 9 for this. What is this here? I need 9 entries in this slate. I don't know why it's not letting me play these. Let me just see something. 61 lineups. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see something. 61 lineups. Should be 61 in each, but this one isn't. Let's cheat a little bit. Let's do this. I wonder which of these has bad salaries. I don't know. We'll have to. Wow, look at this. So this is a little nuts, right? NBA Monster. It doesn't have anything in it. It's so funny. Like some of these just didn't take. So we're just gonna put lineups in here so that we have something. But that's a little nuts. Let's here. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get to too much Jokic just because of the pricing. See something? Template. Now let's see if it works. Yep. So at least I have them all in here by now. Okay. So I guess that's pretty much it. I'm going to be back at like 6 o'clock, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock. Bobby will be here, and we're going to talk about more of this stuff. And maybe I'll do a hockey one also. And sometime between now and tomorrow, I will do an MMA lineup construction video.